The Music Center started in 1970, and the reason I think at that stage for starting the Leading Center is that my father had this dream of a symphony orchestra for Paarl and the whole Boland region. He drew together a number of teachers in the Paarl schools, or let's say volunteer teachers. Remember those days, nobody was paid for any extra work done, and it was merely I think a project initiated by all of them, and because of the affordability of recorders, they've decided to start off with a recorder. The ideal, of course, symphony orchestra instruments, but because of the expense, they couldn't afford it at that stage. And each and every child that they could lay hands on, the first group was 35 kids, and started with the recorder, and eventually the orchestral instruments was phased in. I remember they made friends or made contact with a professor from Stellenbosch University, Professor Paarl Museum, and he took the lead with his students from Stellenbosch University to come and teach violin to the kids here in Nepal. We started off in this building, actually, and we were moved from here to Paarl East area on the other side of the Berg River. And after 24 years, we returned here again as a full-time institution. There we worked in day schools in the afternoons, and like William Lloyd, and then to Ebenezer Primary School, where myself taught for 10 years. And from there, we moved to the garage of my mother because we didn't have other accommodation. We renovated it and made it into a center office, and also a big room where we could teach. Interesting with that one is that myself, because of the wall in the middle of the garage, double garage, was two single garages with a door linking it up. I stood in the middle of that door, in the door with my one arm in this and one arm in the other room, and conducted the orchestra, because I had to arrange them as if they're on a big stage through the hall to the other room. I had quite terrible experiences also in this whole movement, you see. Our family, my father and my mother, they stuck to the guns. They said that we're going to stay here. And we were one of the last families that moved from that area to the new area. I think there was one family left when we moved. And the interesting thing is what happened is when we left, while we were carrying our stuff out of the house, that's not a practical thing that happened, and the newcomers, the new owners came into the house, they moved across over us. We was not even out yet. Then they were almost in, you see. And then the next day, my father was in the afternoon, had to just take the keys to this owner, the new owner. And he was not even allowed into the house again. He was just kept on the front stoop, and that's where he was entertained. And from there on, he just left again. Before this stage, the center went into a recess in 1988, and the reason for that is because there was a sudden lack of interest, and I think there was also the funding possibilities that were there, that we were battling with, of funding this project, and we felt as a group of young teachers rather go into a recess, rather leave the center there. And during that period of time, that year of 1988, I personally missed the institution so much. And I said to my father, I would like to restart the institution. And he said to me, but rather go overseas, rather study further, rather equip yourself better, and then afterwards you decide. You know, a week after that I shared that with him, he died. The parents felt that they would like to honor him through and rename the Leading School. And we as staff felt that maybe it's best to let the center, under the name of Paarl School's Music Center, first become 21 or at his at the 21st anniversary concert, and at that concert changed the name into Frank Pietersen. I didn't decide for myself to be here. The school decided I should be here. Or let's say music decided I should be here. I just want to turn it around, saying to you that when I think it just developed naturally. The fact that I was involved in this project, the fact that I believed of voluntary work and just give myself. I mean, on top of on top of the work that I've done, I just every afternoon. Take for instance that year when there was no music center, that 1988 that I told you about. I missed the institution during that period of time. In the afternoons, it felt as if I've got nothing to do for myself, although there was such a lot I could do. Many parents spoke to me already and came to us and came to share with me what they see as parents sitting in their cars, coming into the center during orchestra practices, how the learners automatically just gel with each other and mix with each other and are part of each other. So the center being a unifying factor within the Paarl area, of drawing people together, of providing the best possible teaching for learners in this area, and eventually sending them out into the world.